25-year-old security guard Nassir Day was shot and killed a couple of days ago. Um, let's see what knowledge we extract from this death, and let's get this video out there. Share it, like it, comment on it. Not for me, but to get this information out there with security guards, we really need to make sure we're getting proper training, and there's constant communication between client management and the guard that's on duty. That's what we got from this video and the senseless death. Let's go.
Nassir victim in that deadly office building shooting from Friday. Security guard Nassir Day was shot and killed when an armed gunman made his way inside that property. It happened in Philadelphia's Logan neighborhood. Day was just 25 years old. Eyewitness News reporter Alicia Roberts spoke to Nassir's mother, who found out she was going to be a grandmother in the midst of tragedy.
It's just so...
This is why we need to highlight this stuff. We're people. We're people, like cashiers. We're people like bank tellers, just like police officers. And we need to be aware of the amount of violence that can happen in the workplace. We need to highlight this. And at least some of these guards that have passed away in the last few months, they're being highlighted through local news. But this kind of stuff, the numbers of death of security guards this year and last year has to be put nationally. Has to be put on national news, because we're doing the temperature checks. We're enforcing, or the mask mandates. Depending on the building and the policies, right? We're doing all these duties, and then there's a lot of civil unrest. And there's a lot of security guards who are unequipped and unskilled and untrained. Like, they're not trained. I'm not talking about Nassir. I'm not talking about him. So let's make sure we got that clear. I'm not gonna talk bad about this gentleman who fell on duty. I don't know the guy and stuff like that. So just be clear and squash that, right? We need to make sure this is highlighted. Share this with your team.
Heartbreaking.
Sunday night, friends, family, and co-workers gathered at the childhood home of Nassir Day to honor a man described as a gentle giant, not only because of his 6'4" stature, but also the size of his heart and smile.
Getting them prepped up for the football game and stuff like that. Him acting a goofball, dancing on the video.
Late Friday morning, the 25-year-old was shot in the head when a gunman armed with several homemade weapons entered the office building where Nassir worked as a security guard.
Yo, some of these homemade weapons, they're not going to be picked up by metal detectors or wands. So you have to make sure, as a guard that's on duty, you always make sure you have a good amount of distance between you and whoever you're speaking to. Make sure you know if there's any places nearby you can duck and cover if it's an active shooter situation. If somebody's about to get violent with you with their hands, or if they're carrying something, they have to bring their hands up to hit you, and they have to do a reach-like movement to get to whatever tools they might have that's going to cause harm to you. So keep that in mind. Learning about gun safety and stuff like that is a plus. And now that I'm getting into that stuff for the last few months, I look around the waist area if the person's not wearing a jacket, and I try to see if there's any kind of bulge around the shirt, because people can conceal carry and you don't even notice it. But if the shirt looks a little off around that side, that's probably, an indication of them carrying something. If their pockets are bulging for no reason, and then the other pocket isn't, you got to question. So really observe the wardrobe of the person, to see if they're probably carrying something. That's all I got for now. Let's continue.
In the city's Logan section,
It was a senseless killing of a hero.
Nassir's mom says protecting others is something her son learned while playing football at Germantown High School.
Offensive tackle, they called him the blind side. He protected his quarterback.
Police have charged 59-year-old Wayne DeRillis of Milford, Delaware, with Nassir's.
Believe it or not, I believe that football is one of the best martial arts. I know it's a sport, but you have people constantly bashing into each other. I remember hearing a podcast from Flanagan too, and they were talking about violent hands. Some of the best tackles, the best pushers, you know, techniques, you can find them in football. You can see a lot of training videos, and it's a great way to get people onto the ground, and it's a great way to get them pushing them away from you, and you could push them to the side. A lot of techniques in football.
There's murder.
I forgive him and forget. I just want to know why.
Nassir's mother said she learned of her oldest son's death on the same day she found out his girlfriend was 4 months pregnant and that Nassir was going to be a father.
He was going to surprise me on Thanksgiving.
Now, as she makes plans to welcome a grandchild this March, she wants her son to know this.
I'm proud of you. You did your due. I'm proud of my son.
Nassir's colleagues also tell me he was loved by everyone and working on additional certifications to move up within the company. They started a GoFundMe page for his family. We've posted a link on our website. Reporting in Spring Garden, Alicia Rob.
Hey, if you got the funding, help out this family. Guys, ladies, gentlemen, my guards out there, watch your six when you're on duty. Treat everybody with respect, and if they're armed and able to snap right away. It's not to create any type of fear, is to create caution. Caution. There are many posts out there. Let's take, for example, let's say you work in Times Square, New York, before the vid, right? And you work on a post where you see 1,000 people. 1,000 people is a lot of people to come in contact with. I'm not talking about just the subway or some stuff like that. I'm talking about that you have to have brief 1-2 conversations with sentences. Let's say, hey, you're doing access control. Hey, I'm here to see such and such. Here's my ID. If you're in a post where you see 1,000 people a day, the chances of you running into somebody that's moody, that's violent, that's depressed, that is off or on certain medication that's making them act weird, the chances of you running into an ex-employee that has a grudge greatly increases vastly compared to the average person. And that's what security does. We make sure that things are safe, so we put in certain positions, particularly access control in the entrance and the exits of buildings, so that we can vent out any potential locals out there. And those locals, you could have a great day where the whole day seems boring. Awesome. Easy money. And you have days where it's intense, it's hot, it's heavy. A Friday night in Times Square or around that area before the vid during the summertime is not the same thing as a Friday night during Christmas, during Halloween, during the regular week when there's no holidays or any festivities. Why is that? People are drinking, they're smoking, they're doing all sorts of things, and then they're acting more reckless because of it. Now with the whole vid situation, the gaslighting that's being given to our population, you have potentially 300 million crazies out there. Potentially, right? And it's because a lot of messed up stuff is happening. There's a lot of protesting. There's a lot of stress going on. Guys, thumbs up this video. Leave a comment down below. Share it with your team. We need to make sure guards are getting better trained. If you're a supervisor, if you are a client of security, make sure you're coming up with emergency action plans for active shooter. Make sure you're running scenarios, conversations, 5-10 minutes a week. Just talk about, what do you do if this would happen? What can you possibly do if this would happen? How can you possibly handle this situation? Those little conversations here and there can provide the guards and your employees with more and better tools. There has to be constant communication between the person that's on duty, the manager of security or supervisor, and our clients. I've worked in a site before where my manager was not security. She was not security guard. And thankfully, she was wise enough to listen to me when certain things were coming up. And I had information based on documentation. I could give her statistics on what would happen in that particular post, trends that go up, trends that go down. So another thing we need to work on, every post, even if they say you don't have to write anything here, write shit down. Write it down. Any type of incident, write it down. Even if management doesn't have it, and you're the security guard, they don't care. You write it down on a notepad. You get your own logbook. You write that down. Why? Why do you want to write that down? It's because that's how you keep track of the safety level of your post. You will have actual numbers to present to your management team and to the client. Hey, we need another guard. I don't want to spend money on that. Why do we need another guard? Because the foot traffic here is very, very thick, and I can only do so much. X, Y, and Z. Guys, it's just sad that we lost another security guard. I hope you got something out of this. If you found value in this video, press like, leave a comment down below, subscribe. You know what to do. Take care of yourself, love yourself, watch your six. Adios.